Hi everyone, my name is Tammy and I'm an advocate for children with special needs. And I help parents navigate through the special education maze. And we've been having a lot of problems out there regarding consent regulations and how the school districts are manipulating them. So I would like you guys to stay tuned. Hi Christina, I don't even know what's going on, girl. Anyway, I'd like you guys to stay tuned. I would like you to subscribe to my channel below, right down there. And if you hit that little notification bell, as soon as I go live, you guys will know you can come and join me. You just click on that little window that pops up on your screen and you'll know it's me. So anyhow, there's been a lot of things going on regarding what your rights are and how you can protect them. So if you have, I'm trying to fix this thing. If you have a child with a disability and you're trying to access special education, all you have to do is put in a request to get your kid evaluated. Now, you don't have to know. You don't have to know all the areas. You don't have to know anything. All you have to do is say you want your kid evaluated and you're good. YouTube is funky. So, oh God, it's driving me nuts. Today was such a bad day. But anywho, the school district is the authority. They're supposed to know everything. So you shouldn't have to ask for anything. All you guys have to do is ask for an evaluation, a full evaluation in all areas of suspected disability. You just have to say, I want my kid evaluated. They're supposed to take it from there because they're the big time, I'm all of that kind of people. So they should know what their job function is. Now, when they don't know what their job function is, all you got to do is let them screw up. That's all you got to do. When you let them screw up, then we can take it to the next level. I can show you what to do next. Okay? So what you do next is you file against them. So you let them do the entire evaluation. You let them do everything. And then when we get the evaluation, I will teach you how to look through the evaluation to determine what the hell did these people actually do. Now, sometimes these morons will say, we're going to do an evaluation. And then we need your consent to do the evaluation. And then guess what? Because you don't know, they didn't do an evaluation. They just said they did and then they didn't. That's what they did. It's called shenanigans. That's my new thing, shenanigans. This is backwards. I'll learn how to fix it later. But shenanigans. That's what they're doing all the time now. Okay, guys? So what you have to understand is that you got to give these people enough rope to hang themselves, because if you go in there fighting with them all the time, they don't care. They just shut down and they don't care. They're going to do it their way anyway. So you can do all of this all you want all day long. You just sit back and you wait for it. When they get it done, then you can go after them. Okay. Now, one of the things that they're supposed to do in their consent form, when they give it to you, they're supposed to describe what they're doing, what they're proposing to you. So if they're proposing to give you an evaluation, they have to describe all the areas. They have to put it in writing. They have to tell you everything they do. They have to put in writing. If they're proposing something to do with your kid, they have to put it in writing and they have to get your consent. I can read it. Okay. Doesn't show backwards. You see, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. Thank you. So here, that's what it says. Let the shenanigans begin. Anyway. So the school district's job is they have to provide you with information, because you don't know, about all the areas that they're going to evaluate your kid in. They have to describe the activity, and that has to go in writing. And you have to get that before they do anything. And when you ask them for, hey, Christina, could you go on my Facebook page and could you go tell these people where I'm at? Because I don't know. Nobody's showing up. 2 people so far. Cool. But could you just do that for me real quick? I tried to do it and I don't know what I'm doing. So I love it. I know. Really? So anywho, so they're supposed to tell you everything Okay, you don't sign anything unless you have the information. So you ask for the evaluation, and then what they're supposed to do is provide you with prior written notice. Thank you, with prior written notice that says, this is what we're going to do, and now that's consent. So now when you do an initial, the very first time your kid is ever evaluated, it's called an initial evaluation. Okay. And under initial evaluation, under the law, every time they do something, there's a procedure and there's a regulation that's attached to the procedure under the federal laws. Okay. Nobody cares about the state laws. You know why? Because half the time the state laws are not all inclusive of all of the federal requirements. Now, some states just say, you know what, here, we're going to adopt the federal laws as our laws. Some states, like, I don't know, Massachusetts decides, well, we're only going to give the parents 28 pages of 307 pages of federal law. We're going to pick and choose what we're going to give them. Okay. So one of the things they don't give you in Massachusetts as a law is, what do you call it? They don't give you, like, who's supposed to come to the team, who's considered a team member. So a lot of my parents were going to these schools and they're telling me, Tammy, nobody was there. What do you mean nobody was there? Did you have an OT eval? Yes. A PT? Yes. Did you have a psychological? Yes. So who was there? The team chair. If it's just you and the team chair, that's not a team. That's a violation. Exactly what that is. That's a violation. Okay. So, but Massachusetts, thank you, Christina. You're awfully pretty, girl. I just want to tell you that. I meant to tell you that before, but you're awfully pretty. Anyhow, the so you have to be leery of the state regulations. Always go to the federal, because the federal, no matter what their state regulations omit or selectively include or whatever the hell they're doing, because way down on the bottom of their book, they'll tell you where to go find the federal regulations. Okay. And they'll tell you it's a disclaimer. Okay. Because they're no good. They're just no good. There's no reason for any of this other than to make it as difficult for parents, because they have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with their boring, uneventful lives. It's got to be that, because I can't imagine how anybody would torture a parent or a child with a disability just because they could. You know, it just amazes me. But anyway. So they're supposed to put it in writing to you. They're supposed to put it in writing, and then they're supposed to tell you, oh, by the way, here's the consent we want. Now, the consent itself, is supposed to describe all of the activities, like I told you before, and it's supposed to give you basically the list of evaluators, or let me say it the way they say it in the law, the list of records and the list of individuals, the list of records that they're going to release, and the list of individuals they're going to release them to. Okay? That's what the law says. That has to be on your consent form. If it's not, it's a violation. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Christina. Hi, Christina. There's two of you. That's a violation. Okay, Barbara, I know I haven't gotten back to you, but I will. Okay, I'm just waiting for the dismissal. As soon as I get the dismissal, ready to go. Okay. But anyway, did you get the dismissal, Barbara? If you did, I'd really like to know. Just send me it. And if you already sent it, just put in there and said, I sent it to you, stupid. Anyhow, you didn't get the dismissal. Oh, okay. I don't care, because at some point I'm going to call them tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. If we don't get it by Monday, or if I don't get it in tomorrow's mail, I'm going to find out. I'll check my email, because I told that witch to send it to me via email and to put it in the mail. I just today, or was it yesterday, received the letter for the conference call we just had the other day. Okay, for you to sign that other paper. Yeah, I just got that. We already had the conference call. See, they're doing all this nonsense on purpose, because they know I live in Pennsylvania and you live in Massachusetts. So they think they can get around this, but they're about to get served. I'm telling you right now, I'm so tired I can't see straight. So anyway, let's get back to consent. The reason why I want to talk about consent so much is because if they violate consent, and I'm going to end up telling you this, as we go on. But when they violate consent, they violate a lot. If they don't give you the information as to who's doing the evaluation and what records they're going to release, they can do whatever they want. For instance, I actually know of a school district right now that is refusing to provide the parent with the list of evaluators and the list of records they're going to release. The reason why, believe this is the reason why. The reason why is we just found out that the parent had an evaluation done in 2017, 2018. And the parent asked for, I said, did you ever get a copy of that consent? I need a copy of that consent. So the mother emailed the school district. And the school district, actually, they're a lawyer, being the little smarticle bunny that she is. She sent a letter to the parent and said that I sent you 50,000 pieces of paper. If the document, the consent, is not in those documents, then it doesn't exist. First and foremost, the stupid wench knows she never sent the parent 50,000 records. The kid was only determined eligible for special education in 2017. I have kids like the woman that's on this thing right now, Barbara. I've been representing her son since he was 14. I think it might have been younger. He's now 19. And we don't have 50,000 records. And this kid is intense. And we've been through many hearings. We've been through a whole bunch of crap. And we don't have 50,000 records. I can't tell you, I swear to God, every single year we go to hearing because the school district is stupid. And so I either had to take them to hearing, or the dumb school district decided, well, we'll just fake 2 hearings and we'll pretend she did this and violate regulations and a whole bunch of mess. But in this one particular case, there's not 50,000 records. Do you know how many 50,000 pieces of paper is? Okay. When you guys ever get a Staples box of paper, if you buy a case, there's 10 reams of paper in that box. 10 reams. Okay. 10 reams. And each ream is 500 sheets of paper. So in order to add up to 50,000 pieces of paper, you have to have 10 of those boxes with 500 sheets of paper in each ream of paper. There's 10 of them. I mean, this is the math you have to do with these stupid idiots. I hate them all. I hate them. Break the law like Trump? Yeah, it's because of Trump they're able to do all this stuff. I'm sorry, guys. If you like Trump, this is not a real good channel for you to be on. I'm just saying, I'm trying to keep it real. I don't try to push anybody anyway. I personally don't like the man, and I'm telling you guys right now. Right now, in several states, this fool is trying to change the laws so that the states get all the money they need, and then they do whatever they want. Apparently, he's trying to change the laws so that the federal government doesn't have anything to do with what's going on in your state. That's what this man's trying to do right now. So there's no federal oversight whatsoever. I don't know what this moron is thinking, because if there's no federal oversight, then that means there's a whole bunch of parents that'll be skipping their happy-go-lucky butts right into district court or federal court, because once you have this process done, then you can appeal into federal court. Once you do a due process hearing and it's all about the state, you don't have to worry about nothing. Hell, maybe you don't even have to worry about going through a due process hearing. If you leave it to this moron who's in office right now, that would be wonderful. Okay. What if you have all that, but the teacher drags your child knowing they have an IEP? Drags your child where, honey? I don't understand what you're saying. Drags your child knowing. Drags physically, I mean, that's abuse. You need to file with CPS. Seriously, file. I mean, are you saying that like metaphorically, or are you saying that they literally dragged your child somewhere? I need to know what that means, because then now we get a whole different kind of conversation. But if you're saying it metaphorically, then you need to file complaints. You guys have to file these complaints. I'm not kidding. You don't go to hearing. Hearings are hard. They're difficult. They're sickening. They're time consuming. They cause stress and anxiety for the parent. They cost you major money if you have to do it with an attorney. And if you don't have to do it with an attorney, then you have to do all this work yourself. And I'm telling you, you think having a hearing is going to do something and make you feel better? It's not. It's just not going to make you feel better, because all the drama you had to go through to get this much isn't even worth it. Not when you can sit at the kitchen table, file these complaints, and send them off. And they're not supposed to be able to stop you. Now, if the school district files for a hearing and then you do they set it aside until the hearing's done, that's a whole nother conversation. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Ohio keeps refusing to investigate multiple cases. Contacted OSEP. They haven't heard anything. You keep. Okay, where's my little paper? Okay. I'm going to put out there on this page the email for the OSEP commissioner. And then what you're going to do is you're going to say who you contacted at OSEP and they're refusing. I'm going to give you the email address and I'm going to give you that wench's telephone number. And you can do what I did, okay, Christina? You call them up and you tell them these people in Ohio aren't doing their job. They're not doing their job. They're not investigating. And they're not telling you why. Do you know how many states have gotten in trouble for that? Lots of states. Okay? Do that. Okay? I contacted Rebecca. You need to contact now. When you contact this woman, okay, her name is Laurie Vanderplug. Laurie Vanderplugy. Okay? P-O-N. Okay, I'm going to give you the telephone number and I'm going to give you her email address. And what I want you to do is, okay, I want you to contact this woman and you're going to get her secretary. You're not going to get her. Okay, and then you tell the secretary. I'll tell you what, you people got 2 seconds, or I'm going to take all of these Ohio complaints and I'm going to compile them and I'm going to send them to the United States Department of I'm going to actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put OID's website on there. Okay. OSEP is supposed to monitor the states, and the states are supposed to monitor the school districts to ensure that the idea is being implemented. Now, oh, good. Hi, Mary. Tiger. Still working. I'm almost done with the first one. It came out pretty good, though, but I'm going to fix his butt. So anyway, I'm talking about a complaint we're about to file, guys. Anywho, I forgot what I was saying. Is what you did to me, Mary? Okay. Thought about OIG. I'm so mad. Okay, look. I'm going to give you the information, the website to go to OIG. The first page got everything in there. I'm telling you, it's really cool. Now, what happens is, like I just said, OSEP oversees the State Department of Education in every state, okay? They got the little liaisons for every single state. And they're supposed to monitor the implementation of IDEA, because they're really supposed to be monitoring the money, the millions of dollars they gave all these states. That's what they're monitoring. If the money if they're using the money the way the grant said they were allowed to use it. Now, the state is supposed to be doing the same thing with the school districts that applied for the same grant, but directly from the school district. The state files for the grant from OSEP, and then the public schools get the grant money from the Department of Education. Now, there's another entity. It's called the United States Department of Education, Office of Inspector General. So I'm just put this out here. I'm going to tell you what this is like, the Office of Inspector General. Okay. You guys know this whole impeachment thing that went on, right? For different departments in our country and the way our country is set up and designed. So for the Department of Education, and there might be a few others, but the U.S. Department of Education has many entities. They have OSEP, they have Title I, they have a lot of entities under that umbrella, okay? And under that umbrella, like with other entities in our government, such as the one that has to do with government people becoming whistleblowers, okay? You guys remember what happened for the Donald Trump thing, okay, the impeachment thing. There was a whistleblower. The whistleblower wrote a report to the Inspector General that oversaw whatever they were doing, and you can get this report offline, and then you know what I'm talking about. The report was so tight, and it had dates, and it had times, and it had a whole bunch of stuff in there, okay, that the Inspector General came down and said, Houston, we got a problem. we got a president that just ran amok. Okay. When that report came out, that's when they hit the fan. Okay. That's when it hit the fan for the president. That's when the impeachment process came down, because the president can't bribe another country to do what he did. And we're not going to get into that. But I just want you to understand what the role of an inspector general is and how much power they have. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway. So that's how much power the Office of Inspector General has in every area. Like there's different ones all over the government. Okay. So that's how important they are. They carry a lot of weight. When they do an investigation, they carry a lot of weight. So I talked to the one in Massachusetts because they have offices all over. When you go to this website, they're going to give you like your region and who you contact. And you contact those people and you tell them what's going on. Now, let me tell you what's cool about this. The Office of Inspector General investigates all kinds of stuff. Remember, I keep telling you guys about follow the money? Okay. The Office of Inspector General does just that. It's all about misconduct. It's about fraud. It's about integrity, about where the taxpayers' dollars are being spent and how they're being spent. So, and it's any government official. So it goes right down to the damn teacher in the building. Do you understand me? That's why it's good. But you can't just be sending stuff to the OIG. No. It's got to be real bad, which means you got to take your time. The guy in Massachusetts told me, he said, Tammy, send everything you got. And I mean everything. Send it. Okay, that's what you got to do. You got to send everything, because they don't always do an investigation. So because there's a lot of stuff they got to do. So you got to make sure that yours is getting looked at. Now, for instance, in good old Texas, we got a lot of information. You see, we got contracts where the state is paying private practice attorneys to hear cases. They are employees of the Department of Education. That's a violation under IDEA. You can't be an employee of the Department of Education and hear cases, because what it amounts to is Tiffany, your hearing is being heard by the same hearing officer that's getting paid out of the same grant that school district got, that you're fighting against the school district with. Okay, that's called a conflict of interest. We got in Texas, because of public records laws, because the hearing officers are a public entity. Everything they do, every dollar they spend, every invoice they submit to the state to get paid is a matter of public record. We got the records. They're screwed. We got $6,000 so far. That's just one guy. We got another one that's going to be the mediator. We got another one that we asked for the withdrawal of the case, and that went put in for some money too. And she's also private practice attorney. So what you have to do is you have to line up your ducks, okay? Don't just jump head in. First, figure out what OIG does, and then line up your ducks accordingly. And just because you think it's bad doesn't mean it's bad. You know when it's bad? When you did, for instance, you file the complaints, they keep coming back, let them come back like that. Don't get mad anymore. Let them come back like that. Because what you're going to do is you're going to have a nice little stack. Like what I'm doing is this. I'm writing these complaints, right? So I write the complaints, I create a file. I put all the evidence, I put the complaint, I mark it. TEA complaint 1 2020. Everything that I use for that complaint is going in that complaint. Then the next complaint I'm going to do, TEA complaint 2 2020. All of the evidence, everything goes in it. So when I get ready to send this bull over to OIG, going to have a nice giant size book of the nonsense regarding how they're not doing their job at TEA. Right, all the way around. I mean, we have documentation at TEA that the hearing officers actually have to be trained because they don't know what they're doing. The hearing officers, the guy that's hearing one of my parents' cases, is the guy that's training these morons, and he's so bad. It's disgusting. But anyway, you got to line your ducks up. So I'm going to give you guys the website and information on OIG. You go on there, and then maybe we'll just have an OIG training. Okay, Tiffany. So yes, my son was dragged physically. Oh, dragged? Yeah. He has an IEP. CPS is involved. Someone at the school saw the incident. Good. Okay, you're on the right track. What you need to do now is take that report. Wait for it. Don't get hung up on CPS, because CPS ain't no good. Because it's real hard to find against a public school and have all those other kids go to that same school with that same nonsense teacher there. So I hope there was somebody at the school that actually saw it. Clearly it wasn't you. This actually happened to me and my niece. We found out from another parent that the teacher got mad at my niece because my niece was being non-compliant, and she shoved her into a chair, because my niece wouldn't do what she wants. Well, my niece was nonverbal. My niece is globally delayed. My niece had a lot of issues, and she was bad as hell. But she never hit the teacher. So the aides in the room told the teacher to get out. All of this was seen, and then the aides ratted out the teacher. And so I went up there. And I didn't know it was her. I was talking to this teacher, and I told the teacher, I said, I'm going down to the nearest, as soon as I get this wench's name, not knowing that I was actually speaking to the wench who did it. I said to her, I'm going to go file criminal charges. This idiot looked me in the face and told me I can't do that. I said, have you lost your mind? What are you talking about? That's assault on a child with a disability. Have you lost your damn mind, stupid? And then I realized, I looked at her for a long time, and I said, it was you, wasn't it? You did this to my niece. And I went real close to her, and I said, touch my niece again. Playing with you dumb people. Anyway, good. You're on the right track. Start lining up your ducks, Tiffany. You got to get as much information as you can. Don't rely on CPS. I'm telling you right now, don't rely on them. Unless you have people that were in the school like I did, you got to get that wench out of there. Is there a time limit for OIG? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But you want to get in there, because what they want you to do is they want you to access all of the resources that you have. So if they know that it's 60 days to do an investigation. They know all of that. And you can explain to them, I did the investigations, and this is how it came back. And Ohio's coming back. Well, Texas, for instance, Texas is doing evaluations. They're doing investigations, and these idiots are coming back saying that they sustained the allegation against the school, no corrective action. So they found that the district violated the regulations and then never issued corrective action. That's a violation. They think I'm playing with them. Watch. Okay. So no. Love your channel. You speak the truth like the system tries to. Oh God, they're always trying to cover up stuff. I just don't understand. They just need to crawl under a rock and stop trying to pull over that very, very heavy blanket trying to conceal shit. Because whatever is in the dark will come to light. Hello, the light. I'm a big, shining flashlight. I hate them. I'm sorry. I know. It's bad. It's really bad. It's not that, I've heard some things. And if I don't know if I could handle going to these schools without, I don't know if I could hold my temper. I don't hold my temper now. So, so I know for a fact I couldn't. When I got done with them, I would chew them out. But anyway, that's why I do it like this. I'm much more effective helping you guys this way. Way more. Because I know you guys think that you need somebody sitting right next to you. The only reason why you guys think you need somebody there, you guys think, in your heart of hearts, it's not true. You guys think that if you have an advocate sitting next to you, that she's going to protect me. 99% of the advocates out there don't do shit. They're afraid of the school district, or they're actually trying to stick their teensy little heads up the school district's hiney. There are a few advocates that are good, that are not afraid of the school. And they're not afraid of what's going to be for them, the hard time they're going to have if there's another kid in the school district. They're not afraid of that. And that's what you need. You need an advocate that's not afraid of that. That if you're going to have one sit next to you, honey, bring somebody that's like me. Like me. I don't care. I don't care nothing about what they think about me. So anyway, back to consent. So When you, it's true, and I know. When you, and that's another thing, you guys have to interview advocates. Don't just accept the first advocate, and never, ever, ever, ever get an advocate that's paid by the school district, that works for the school district. You're getting a fox, and your kid is the hen. You're the hen too. You can't have a fox representing the hens. The fox eats the hens. You can't have a, yeah, no, don't do that. Furthermore, I don't even know why they do it. It's conflict of interest, because no advocate in their right mind that's working for the school district is going to fight against the rights, fight for the rights of the parent against the people who are employing them. It just makes no sense. So don't tell me you have that person, because if you do, I'm going to get mad, because you're smarter than that. You don't need an advocate, because if you're going to get an advocate to do that, you might as well go do it yourself. It's way easier. You'll get more done. And you don't have to yell and scream, or use a parent mentor. No. Yeah, right. Parent mentor from anybody that's coming out of the public school system that you do not want. They have an agenda. They just, I mean, it's just so, and they'll tell you, oh no, yeah, fight me. You tell that chick one law, you say, I want you to go there, and I want you, and then call her out. That's all you're going to do is call the advocate out that's being paid by the district. And then you tell them, I'm done working with you, you're stupid. You're here to protect the school district. You're here to get me in line. And they'll say stuff like, well, you know, the school district this, and they don't have a lot of money, and yada, 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 yada. Don't care. Like my niece says, don't care. Don't care. Not my problem. That'd be your problem. Don't make your problems my responsibilities. Because if it's my responsibility, I'm taking over. You just gave me the right to be the authority. You gave me the right to take the hell over. And that's what I'm going to do. You can't get mad at me later. Or you can, but I don't care. So I'm just looking at the channels to see. And thank you. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate it. I'm glad. I want you guys to know everybody is not like that. I'm not trying, just for the record, I'm not trying to be those people. I'm not trying to tell any of you what to do. I'm giving you your options. To give you the options, you got to make a decision about which way you're going to go with this information. And you guys have to understand something. I only can give you information based on what you gave me. So if you're asking me a question, that I'm answering the question based on what you're asking me, okay? And I'm telling you what happened as my experience. So my answer could change if I had more information, and don't. I'm a busy girl right now. Busy. Don't do it. So anyway, I want you guys to come here. But this is why I like to do this, because I can give you guys a lot of information as a group in a lot of areas that it's not general, because I'm trying to pinpoint things that I know is popping off in my life, so I know it's popping off in yours. Tiffany, true. My advocate is not part of the district. They hate to see me show up with my. That's what they used to call me, in a skirt. She knows her stuff. That's what you got to do. You tell her kudos, okay? They used to. I wear stilettos. I used to wear stilettos all the time. And I did it on purpose. First, I liked them. I thought they were sexy. Just saying. And I was always dressed to the nines, okay? My stilettos, they were 5 inches. I am 5'9" without stilettos. So I was a force to be reckoned with. I tell you, I was fierce, okay? And a lot of times I ended up, I like dealing with men in the system, because they think they're all of that, and because they think I'm afraid of them, and then, Tammy comes right at you. I don't care nothing about you being a man. Matter of fact, I like it better that you're a man, because I will chew you out and spit you. I'm telling you, when I get done cussing you out, and I don't say one swear, but when I get done, those people wish I had used swear words. At least they would have some kind of justification for the way I made them feel. But I have been told I am fierce with my mouth, and I can make a grown man cry. I don't care. Don't make me mad. Don't. Hi. Okay. Tiffany. Hi. Can you see my question about the FBA? No. Where is it? I didn't see. Did I miss it? Where did you put it, Tony? It's not on here, right? The one that you sent me a question. I may not have gotten to it this week. I tried to answer some of them. No, but is it private? If it's private, I'll go in my box and I'll look at it. If that's what you want. Or did you put it on YouTube? I haven't. I keep forgetting about this YouTube. I checked it a couple of times. There weren't that many questions in there, so I just have to know. You guys know I did put stuff, links, and everything from last week's training or workshop, whatever you want to call it. I already put that on my page. So if you go to my channel and in the description box, there, if you click show me, show more, you get all the links for everything. Everything's right in there, okay? There's links to the federal regs. There's a Dropbox for, there was some kind of, the sample letter for the records, that's in there. There's, I think the list of assessments is in there for the definitions of how you write that up. There's a bunch of stuff in there. So guys, go check it out. You got to go under this, under last week's, what do you call it? Last week's training, and click on the show more, and then all the stuff will drop down, and you just click on it and you'll get it. Okay. Tony, I mean, if it's not tonight, if you put it in the YouTube one, no, I didn't, but I'll go check it out. And if you inbox me, I'll check it out. Just tell me which one you put it, and I'll go right after I'm done. Okay. How's that? Anywho, so the reason why is another reason why consent's important. So let's say the school district, they don't give you anything. They just give you a consent form. It doesn't, scared me. It doesn't have, it doesn't have the list of names, and it doesn't have the list of records. Okay, cool. So you sign it. So, 128, 2020. Okay. What's the problem? Did you copy and paste what I told you on that list thing? Did you get that list with all the records? The list of areas to be assessed. There's a list, and it says the list of areas to be assessed. Sign the consent on 128. Okay, good. So they got 60 days. Did your consent include the records they're going to release and the names of the people they're releasing your records to? $10 it doesn't. It doesn't. That's a violation. You can file that right now because they never gave it to you. And the list of names, she is new here. Who is new here? Honey, Tony L. Tony's not new. Tony's not new. How long do they have to schedule the FBA? What do you mean? Honey, oh, okay. Okay, you're not the same Tony I thought you were. Okay. When you ask for an evaluation, they have 60 days to complete it from the date you signed it. Okay. Is it an initial evaluation, or is it a reevaluation? Which one? PW. Okay. So the school district, depending on if it's an initial evaluation, they got 60 days. So what you do is you go look up your regulations in your state, okay, and see, like in Massachusetts says in their state laws, and they can do this. Massachusetts says in their state laws, they got 45 days to complete evaluations, period. Initial, reeval, it doesn't matter. They got 60 days. Now, in other states, they don't have that. In some states, they just do 60 days for the initial. And they could take as long as they want, I guess. It's got to be within reason. Patty, you see me? How long do they have? My son's birthday is declining right before their eyes. My son's behavior. Okay. So they have 60 days. Go look at that, okay? If you send me some information, if you can't find, you need to find your SPED regulations, okay, in your state. If you tell me, what state are you in? Are you in Massachusetts? I hate Massachusetts. Okay, so it's either 60 days or your state created. My comments are too long. You're good, girl. You're good right now. They either have 60 days for an initial evaluation or a reevaluation. Initial evaluation, I'm sorry. But in most states, I've dealt with a lot of people in a lot of states, so they all use 60 days. Some states just say 60 days for the initial evaluation. So all you have to do is you got to find out what that is. I'm new to everything. No, honey, no, don't worry. Okay. You can inbox me on my Facebook page, or you can just drop a note on the bottom and I will walk you through it. Usually on the weekend, I'm pretty good. So I can just go in and I can check everything out. Okay. So this weekend, I'm going to do a lot of homework on how to do YouTube. But anywho, um, I know it's very confusing, but you're on the right path. No worries. Okay. And if your kid has behavior issues, but if your kid has other issues, like is your kid's behavior interfering with everything else, the school district is supposed to evaluate in all areas of suspected disability, not just the areas that you asked for. So if your kid's, let's say your kid's report card is he's failing academically, okay? Or let's say your kid has issues with reading and comprehension, or your kid is writing backwards, or I mean a whole slew of reasons. Academically, where is your kid? Where is your kid functioning? If you believe there's an issue there, then the school district is supposed to pick up on that. And what you could do is just send them another thing and say, dudes, I'm gonna need you guys to evaluate in all areas of suspected disability. That's all you have to say. Matter of fact, you know what, guys? I'm going to put that there on the page on the description below. I'm going to leave you guys a little thing. I want you to evaluate in all areas of suspected disability. So all you guys have to do is go to that page. If you don't remember that statement, you go there. And when you say all areas of suspected disability, now the district's going to tell you, well, we need to talk. No, we don't need to talk. We don't need to talk. I'm going to tell you, you need to evaluate in all areas of suspected disability, and then I'm going to tell you what, and in that thing I'm going to put in the law, okay? It's 34 CFR, pursuant to 300.304. 304 tells you all the areas. It breaks it all down, okay? It tells them using technically sound instruments that are valid and reliable, like they can't use their opinions. In the case in Texas, when I was telling you guys earlier, in the case in Texas, the mother, when the lawyer sent the mother the letter saying if it's not in there, it doesn't exist, the consent to evaluate. That's not what I wanted to tell you. The reason why they did that is, okay, I got the stories mixed up. Okay, I'll just start over. If the school districts don't tell you where they're going to evaluate, and then you get to talk and you don't know the names of the people and you don't know what records they're going to release these people to, because those records are confidential. So you have to give consent for all of this to happen, okay? And you have a right to know who's getting all of this crap. And you have a right to know to say, I want to meet with the evaluators. And it doesn't matter if the evaluators are outside contracted providers or employees of the school district. You still retain all of these rights, because the school district doesn't want to hire somebody to do the evaluation that you want. Doesn't mean jack doodly squat. In fact, it's more important that outside evaluator, that contracted evaluator from the school, actually has a copy of the consent that you signed with their name on it, because they're on the hook now. They can't say, well, the school district told me. You're a professional. What do you mean the school district told you? You took their word for it? Stupid. That's not what your regulations say regarding your profession. And see, that's a whole nother problem for them, because now you can file a complaint on those people that did the evaluation that don't even work for the school district, because they violated state law. They violated regulations regarding what they're supposed to do as a private professional. See, it's completely separate, and there's nothing in their regulations for their license that says, oh, by the way, if you get a contract with the school, no worries about that consent thing. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You're good. No, there's nothing in there that says that. Let them do it, and you file against them, like I'm going to do, filing against a lot of professionals. They're going to be very upset. I don't care. So it's okay, Tony. Don't worry, okay? You're doing fine. You asked them for the thing. Matter of fact, what you do is you go on my Facebook page, or you go down below and you go look at some of those videos, okay? And a lot of people tell me they're very helpful, okay? I hate my hair. It's just, I'm so itchy. You go look at some of those videos. They talk about evaluations. We talk about a lot of stuff, Okay. The one thing we never talk about is the IEP and what's in them, though. It's really strange. Uh, but anyway, so I'm going to put in all areas. Well, I'm just going to write this. All areas are suspected. Then I'm going to put the law. Okay. So the cool thing is what I like to teach you guys is the law and how to say it and what to tell them. Okay. I've been to team meetings before with the lawyers sitting right there, and I'd be spewing off all these federal laws, and they know what the hell I was talking about. They would actually say, "What are you talking about? Federal law." Hello. You don't know that? You're the big time lawyer. You guys have to remember something too. These lawyers for these schools, yeah, 99% of them don't know anything about special ed law. There might be a few that do. Most of them, not so much. Another thing, a good portion of them have never been in a court of law. They do hearings, but they've never been in a court of law. Big difference. Big difference. Okay? You got to know your players, people. You got to know who your players are. Okay? I know this is confusing, Tony. No worries. Okay? We can take it step by step. And if your comments are too long, just break them down. 1, 2, 3, like that. Just get to the first period and say, Tammy, what about this? And then I'll be able to help you. Okay? Checking out my lipstick. Anyway, so what I was trying to say about consent is if you don't have this information, if it's not in the consent form, they can't send it to you in an email. It's got to be in the consent form, because the people they put in an email, you didn't consent for that in the consent form. That's what the consent form is for. It's for you to give consent for them to do for these individuals right here to do an evaluation on your kid, and you are consenting for these individuals as part of their evaluation to review your son's records or your daughter's records. Okay? Now, again, the reason why that's important is if you sign a blank one, we don't know who's doing these evaluations. You don't know their credentials. You don't know who they are. Right now, in one of the schools that I'm working in right now, or working with the parent, we don't know who the FBA is. We don't know who the BCBA is, if there is one. We asked for a functional behavioral assessment, and the school came back and said, this person's doing it. Who are you exactly, madam? Because we have a psychologist that's doing all the other psychological stuff. They're doing the social, emotional, behavioral, but they're not doing the FBA, which is completely different. Now, psychologists can do an FBA. I'm going to have a degree in psychology. I'm going to have I have a degree in psychology. I'm going for my master's. But that doesn't mean I know how to collect data. Now, when I get done with this course, I'm going to know how to collect data. I'm going to know what it looks like to collect data. I'm going to know what to do with that data, how to analyze it, how to graph it out. I'm going to know all of that right now. I've already done it. It's not that hard. But you got to know what data to collect. You have to identify a target behavior, and then you have to, the psychologist or the BCBA, they have to first collect the data, find out what is it that's going on with this kid? What are the behaviors? Identify the behaviors and when they occur and where they occur. Okay. Then when they do that, then they have to define, they get all this data and they wrote it all down. When the teacher said this, little Jimmy refused to do that. And then the teacher responded with this consequence, or the teacher responded with this. That's called ABC data. Okay. Then after they gather all of that information, they do that over a couple of days in various settings, okay? And what they do now is they take all of that and they look at everything that Jimmy does constantly. The teacher asks Jimmy to do something, Jimmy puts his head on the desk. The teacher asks Jimmy not to flick his pen, he flicks something else. He tells not to stomp his feet, he stomps his hands. So they keep asking little Jimmy, did you complete the assignment? Did he do his homework? All of this is non-compliant behavior. They take all of that information and then they put it they can identify what the behavior is. So is the behavior escape, or why is he avoiding to do the task, or why is he escaping? And once they do that, they identify the target behavior in an FBA, and then they define it. So now they have to collect the data. They have to see how often is he doing this. So now they've defined the behavior. They've identified it. They know what it is. They identify the target behavior. Now, what they have to do is, in an FBA, and all of this is written down, guys. It's all written down in a report. And you have a right to all of this information, every last drop. Okay? So when they do that, then you have all this data collected. Now they got to take all of this information about how often your kid exhibits this behaviors within this parameter, this definition. When anytime little Jimmy does this, this, and this, that's a behavior, you give it a big check mark. When he, or you give him a minus. When he doesn't do it, you give it a check mark, either or. Okay? You identify and you give instructions. So who's ever collecting the data, this is what you guys need to ask for as part of an FBA. It's against the code of ethics. It's my book. It's my code of ethics book. Okay? This is the course I'm in right now. See what it says? For behavioral analysis. This is all about what the BCBAs have to comply with. If they don't, they're in violation. They're non-compliant with the code. Okay? They could be in trouble for that. They have to comply with the code of ethics under the BACB. And there's certain ways they have to collect data in order to write a behavior support plan for your kid. There's a certain way. Everything has to be done. It's not willy-nilly. It's not, well, we'll do a scatter plot. No, that's not how it's done. You don't just wake up one day, well, we'll just write a behavior support plan. No. Based on what the teacher said, no. Because we don't know why he's doing that. What if there's a medical reason why he's doing that? What if he didn't have any breakfast? What if he's sick? There's lots of reasons why kids exhibit certain behaviors. So the person that's doing the FBA needs to be trained. That person needs to be on that consent form. Then you can call that person up and you can ask them these questions. And you can tell them, how are you going to identify the behavior? When are you going to collect the data? How long is this going to take? How do you identify the behavior? How do you define it? All of this stuff you can ask them. Everything. But if they're not on there, there's nobody to ask. And now what schools are doing is, half the time, these suckers aren't even using technically sound instruments. They're using things like the DRA2 to determine whether or not your kid has a reading disability. The DRA2 or the DIBBLS. So those things might be okay for kids who don't have a chronic disability, like dyslexia, like a language-based learning disability, okay? Like auditory processing disorder. If they have a chronic disability, you can't use the DRA2. You can't use RTI for sure. Because what you're doing is you're delaying the inevitable, okay? They can't do that either. But if it's not on the consent form who's doing these evaluations and what their title is, so that you can contact them and set up a meeting so you can sit down and have a one-on-one with them. So you can go to the meeting prepared to have a discussion about what they're going to test your kid on. Because if you're going in there, I'm telling you, you get a list. My district never list. I never do. None of them do it. None of them do it. I just posted that question on my Facebook page because I know nobody's doing it. And every time I do it, every time I'm in a case, I tell the schools, you got 2 seconds to tell me who's doing it. And sometimes we've been in hearings. I have a case in which I was in Massachusetts and the hearing officer issued an order for the school district to give me that information. So if you need a case, I got one for you. Mine. Hearing officer said, the parent has a right to know this information. You have to give it to her. Now, give it to her. And all we want, they had already given us the names. They gave us the names, but they didn't give us the list of records. That's very important because I don't want my records going to some dickwad, who doesn't have any credentials, who doesn't even know or cannot comprehend what all the information in here means because they don't have any credentials. I think I told you guys this last week. In Dryden, New York, we asked for a PT evaluation. Yeah. School district. This is why you got to have names on a piece of paper. On the consent, the school district made up a list of things for the kid, for the recess monitor, not the PT. the recess monitor to go out into the playground with one piece of paper, one-sided, and to check off what the kid could do. Because the kid could hop, jump, skip, and run, he didn't need PT. They didn't do the Bach 2. They don't know what the range of motion is for this kid because they never did anything. They don't know there's certain things your body is supposed to do at a certain age, be able to do at a certain age. They didn't know any of this information. They said if he can carry his lunch tray from the lunch line to his table, he doesn't need PT. We got PT. They're stupid because they used an invalid, well, the mother actually got PT eval. I think it was funded by the school. I'm not sure because she got a lot of things funded by the school because they're dumb. And that's the only time you should really go to a hearing and file for a hearing is when the school district uses their opinions. If you don't have evaluations that say on the evaluations, the WISC-5, for instance, you have to do the WISC-5 or something similar. And there's just, most schools use the WISC-5. Okay. If you don't have the Wyatt 3, the Woodcock Johnson, if there's nothing in there, like when you open up your evaluations, it'll say all the assessments, the list of assessments they used on your kid. And you can go to, and I'll put that on there too, pearsonclinical.com. And you can look up every single one of those assessments. And on the bottom of the page, it'll say if it's a screening or if it's an actual assessment. The school districts cannot use a screening to determine if your kid is eligible for special education. You can't use a screening. You're in the evaluation process. Use an evaluation. They don't want to because of screening. Screening ain't poo-poo caca. I mean, they can do a screening. You don't need to go buy a screening like the DRA2. The DRA2 is a screening. And all you guys, and for anything you guys don't believe, all you have to do is when you get the evaluation from those idiots, look for all of the testing. It's usually on the first page, first couple of pages, where they describe what they're doing. And then what you do is you look up the names. Go on the computer and you look up every single one of the names of those tests. And it'll talk about psychometrics. It'll have a product description. And then a good portion of them, the ones that have that are valid and reliable and have been accepted by all of the research educational organizations, they'll say that it has psychometrics. Okay, the DRA2 doesn't have psychometrics. And if they do, they're limited. There's another agency where you can look up and you can actually pay for the studies. The studies, they cost $15. It's called Burris. I'll put that website on there. And you can go on and you can look up an assessment to see what they found, if they deemed it viable. If they deemed it and the study will show, well, no, it didn't do this. Right in the results, it'll say if it's no good. Okay, you can actually get the report. I bought a couple of them before. I think one of them was the DRA2 with a piece of junk. Okay, what's this? My district never lists anyone. I know. Okay, they don't. They're no good. But that's because they want to cover their butts. Because if they don't put anybody on there, they can get anybody they want. If they don't list the records they're going to release, then they can just release whatever they want. A lot of times, like if you do an independent evaluation, do you know they don't even send over your kids' records? Sometimes, most of the time, they're paying for them. And they don't send your records to I have done it personally, because I get them to fund a whole lot of IEEs. So, but it's a fight. And it's not even worth it if you have insurance. You just use your insurance and go get the IEE done at your own expense. Okay? And I'll tell you about how to interview. I think I'm going to do one on interviewing people. That you're going to use for an evaluation, or if you're going to get as an advocate or an attorney to represent you. You guys need to know how to do this too, because just because you're an attorney doesn't mean you know every kind of law there is. Okay. And just because you're an advocate doesn't mean you know everything either. I could tell you some horror stories about advocates that are out there that shouldn't even be doing this. And they're just doing it because it's an ego thing. It has to be. Because the stuff that they've told parents is just unreal. And they're a bunch of chickens, the ones that I know about. Now, not all of them are, but the ones I know about, yes. All my son's behaviors are magically gone because I asked for an MBA. Yeah. You need to have somebody. You need to go and get. He has his own insurance, honey. What you need to do is contact a BCBA. You can contact. They have a lots and lots of. If you're the same person, they have a lots and lots of BCBAs in Massachusetts, and they're private. And you can call them, and they can skip their happy butts right over to that school and go do a functional behavioral assessment. His insurance may pay. So what you do is you tell him he has insurance, and then you tell him, look him up. You can. I'll put the BACB website.com. If you go to the BACB website, you can look for a BCBA in a particular state. Okay, you just go in and you search for BCBA, and then they'll tell you a whole list of names, and you just write their names down and see if you can find them and call them. Okay, and see if you can do it. But there's lots of agencies in Massachusetts that do this kind of work. Lots. I mean, there's one called, I hate giving these names, and it just pops in my head. Beacon. They do them. I don't like Beacon. They got rid of one of the women there, so maybe they're good. But there's several. And if you give me a minute, I can give you some names. So they won't let VNA into dorm. I don't know. Visiting nurse? No. What you need to do is get a functional behavioral assessment done, like I said, and stop. I don't care nothing about no VNA. They can't tell you. You can't bring them in there to do an evaluation on your kid. They can't say no. They're doing an assessment. You can't do it at school. That is his school. So why don't you do it? So do what I tell you to do. If you don't like what I'm telling you to do, stop telling me stuff. My coordinator, your coordinator is not a BCBA. Your coordinator, you say that like, she works for you. She doesn't work for you, honey. She works for the school. She's a BCBA for the school. You need to tell her you tell the school district you want a functional behavioral assessment, and you get that wench over there. Now you want a new one. The old one don't work. And if she's a BCBA, give me her name. She won't be a BCBA when I get done with her. Now what? Now, I don't want to hear none of this. You have to pick a side. You have to pick a lane, and you have to go in it. I'm telling you. You can't tell me about the BCBA. The BCBA, your coordinator is a BCBA. Your coordinator works for the school district, right? What did I just tell you people about school district people? They're not your friends, unless they actually are your friends, but they're not your friends. They have an agenda. Yes, okay, good. That's not your friend. That's not your coordinator. It's not like it's my doctor. That's a person that works for the school district. They get paid for by the school district. She's getting paid not to do too much to prove that your kid may need more services. Are you kidding me with that? Evaluations are to get your kid the services. That's the end result. To either say, yes, your kid needs the service, or no, your kid doesn't. It would stand to reason that the poop heads that work at the school district, they're getting paid by the school district. They're not going to go into a private school or any school. They're not going to do an evaluation and say the kid needs all of this crap. OT, PT, speech and language. They're not going to do none of that. They're going to minimize everything. Everything they're going to minimize. That's why you have to have their names on your consent. I'm going to keep going back to that. That's why you have to have the list of records they're going to release to these individuals, because they could release stuff that doesn't have anything to do with what you want them to evaluate your kid for. They could release, I knew one parent that had custody papers in her thing because they didn't want the father to go to the school. So she had to go there, and she had to say, no, he's dangerous and yada, 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 whatever. And the court said that he couldn't go to the school. So she had to go down there with the court papers and put it in her kid's file. Well, years had passed and everything was fine now. She hires me as the advocate. I get the kids' records, and lo and behold, there's these papers in there. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Why is this in here for everybody to see your business? She said, what are you talking about? I said, that should not be in your kids' records. That means, let me tell you what happens. Everybody that's gone into your kid's file has read that. And so in their teensy brains, they're making judgments. They're making judgments on you. They're making judgment on your husband. They're making on your ex-husband. They're making judgments on your kids. This is why your kid acts this way because your ex-husband. A whole lot of crazy nonsense is going on. That's what they do. Okay? That's what they do. So you have to be careful. They're on a need-to-know basis. The only thing you give these people is what you want to give them so that your kid can get a service. And I'm telling you guys, your best bet. You always have to allow the school district to do their evaluation first. Okay? So after they do their evaluation in all areas, because it's assumed, and I know they're nuts, it's assumed that the district is going to evaluate in all areas of suspected disability. And a lot of school districts like to do this stupid nonsense. Now, if you look at the consent that they want you to sign, it says right on there, all areas of suspected disability. So all of a sudden, they didn't evaluate in speech and language. All of a sudden, you come to them after they did their evaluation and you tell them that, you want an IEE for speech and language because he needs you believe he's having a problem. They always blame the parents, honey. You guys are bad. Didn't you know that? They blame me too. I can't even tell you guys how often they have told parents that if they get rid of me, they'll do all kinds of shit. Lie. They're afraid of me. Good. I like it when people are afraid of me. I'm sorry, I do. I like it when they're afraid, especially when it's people who are in authority. I like it when they're afraid of me. It's wonderful. It was even better when I didn't have a degree and they were afraid of me. It's wonderful. They won't mess with you because they know you say 1, I say 2. You say 3, I say 4. And I don't let nobody blame my parents. They got one time. If I'm on a case, I'm not having it. Stop it. End of conversation. So anyway, I'm going to put the BACB link so you guys can find BCBAs in your area. BCBAs are, depending on what part of the country you're in, is very hard. This field, for all intents and purposes, is in its infancy. We've come a long way from a very horrible place. And behavior analysis is really cool. But there are people out there that do money over treatment every single day. And if they work for the public school, it's a given. It's money over treatment. I don't know any public school that's interested in actually doing their job. Sorry, but it's true. And I've been in a lot of school districts. That is because you are good at costing money. I'll tell you what. If my client isn't getting the service, then I'm going to make sure that I'm going to spend that money anyway. So you don't have to spend it on my kid. But by the time I get done with you people, your name is going to be mud. And you're going to be a few thousands of dollars in the hole because of what you did to my client. And in the end, I'm going to get what I want because I don't stop unless I get what I want. That's the way I used to be anyway. But you're right. It's not funny. I don't have time for the shenanigans. I don't have time for the shenanigans. I got right to the chase. And I try to keep you guys, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you're going to ask me for something, I'm going to give you your options. You got to pick one. And if you don't, it's okay. You don't have to pick one. But you can't keep coming at me with the same question thinking you're going to get a different answer. Because if you don't pick something, what you've been getting, you're going to continue to get. Believe that. You got to, I got to say it. You got to shit or get off the pot. It's just that simple. Otherwise, there's poop all over the walls. I'm just keeping it real, guys. Okay. It is what it is. I can give you your options. But once you have all of this information, now it's up to you to pick one. And I'm sorry, sometimes options ain't good. It's just, they're not good. And because you don't like the options doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means you don't like the options. And so now maybe we have to, let's go deep. Let's go deeper. Let's see what we can do. But you got to do something. That's the bottom line. You got to do something. Okay. Let me see what I got here. OIG. I'm going to put that little statement up there in all areas. Oh, I got to put in the OSAP. I'm going to put in the link for the OSAP directory. And I'm going to tell you, when you click on these individuals' names that are highlighted, you get an email address. That's how I got them all. When you click it, because they highlight it. If you scroll, if you hover over the names, it'll highlight, and then you right click it, I think, and then you can copy and paste it into your email, because it comes up with Outlook. I don't use Outlook. I hate it. So that's the reason why. Now, you can, you can sign the consent, and then they can't get you for because what they'll do is under the initial evaluation, a lot of schools, this is why I wanted to talk about consent. A lot of schools are saying the parent didn't sign consent, we're going to take them to court. We're going to take them to hearing, and we're going to do consent override. Consent override is that if the parent doesn't sign the consent form to evaluate, that the school district can get a hearing officer to issue an order for the district to do it without the parent's consent. Okay, consent override. Unfortunately, which we're going to talk about next week, school districts have lost their ever-loving minds because they're taking that consent override, especially in Massachusetts. And there's one law firm that I'm very familiar with that's doing it right now. And they do it all the time. I just got out of a hearing with them, and that's what I told them. So you just think you can just use its consent override for everything, and then you stupid hearing officers are letting this go through? Yeah, they are. The hearing officers can dismiss a case without a motion from the parent to dismiss. Okay. The school districts can't have a hearing, file for a hearing, and then have a hearing to determine if what they requested for the hearing is good. The hearing officer has to dismiss the case. The hearing officer has to use their brain, because if that's the case, then they can take us to hearing too. They can't take us to hearing. The only thing, there's three ways. You guys all know what it is. Initial eval, re-eval, and if you ask for an independent and they refuse, they got to file for a hearing to prove that their evaluations were comprehensive, and therefore they don't have to pay for an independent. Yeah, that's it. Not no. Excuse me. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm developing a motion to dismiss. Okay, a motion to dismiss for any time a school district uses consent override that doesn't cover one of those areas. And then you guys will be able to just go and get it right off my page, okay? Because they do it a lot. I'm learning. And after my meeting the other day, the school knows. They thought the meeting was going to be like a couple of years ago when I said, okay, and left the meeting. Now I know the laws to say, good. They hate you, girl. Don't you love saying the laws? It's fun as hell. I love it to death. It's so much fun. It's so much fun, I'm telling you. It didn't go well. It was rescheduled. Yeah, they had to regroup. Okay, team, we got to regroup. She knows too much. They're crazy. But see, this is why I tell you guys, I laugh about this stuff, and you guys have to too. You have to look at what they're doing, and you have to laugh, because I'm telling you, if you don't, you will cry every day, because it is horrendous what they're putting your kids through, and it's just wrong on so many levels. And so, yes, I do make jokes. I try to laugh because, I've been caught up in some stuff in my experience, and it has brought me to tears on numerous occasions. I have not been able, these are not my children. These are my kids, but it has brought me to tears and has kept me up many a night trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. What am I going to do? How is this going to work? It's just, it's not right what they do. And so you got to grab a funny. You got to get a giggle anytime you can. But at least they know I'm serious. Good. No, they know. And the reason why they had to regroup is because you let them know what time it is, girl. You got this. Keep it coming. Now you got some more time. Prepare some more. You go look up some more stuff. So when you go to the meeting and you bring the same stuff you already, so you reiterate. You repeat what you already said before. You go, what? You thought what? We were going to regroup and I was going to say something different? No, same thing. You're not doing this. Whatever you said, you say it again. You say, I don't understand what part of your words coming out of my mouth you don't understand. Do you have a reading comprehension problem? Do you have a listening comprehension problem? What's your problem? The whole team wasn't there. And on top of that, they predetermined the meeting. Yes. Okay. So, okay. Predetermination is called Deal versus Hamilton. Okay. The school district, that's a law, that's a case. I'm going to put that on there too. Okay. Deal versus Hamilton. The school district cannot predetermine shit. Okay. Everything is based on something else. So in order for them to predetermine, so they predetermined, what they did is they set their own agenda. That's happened to me a lot. So what I used to do is I used to set it up and say, this is what I want to talk about. Then we go to the meeting and they don't want to talk about it. I say, excuse you, who called this meeting? That'd be me. So you don't want to have this meeting? Is that what you're telling me? You want to protect, because this is me giving you an opportunity to get this right. You don't have to get it right. You don't have to take this opportunity. These are options that are right in front of you. You got to pick one. If you're doing what you're doing, what I just told you guys, if you continue to do what you're doing, I'm telling you, it's not going to end well for the school district, because I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to exercise my legal rights to the fullest extent of the law. That's what you tell them. Even if you don't know what that is, you tell them that anyway. They don't know you don't know. They don't know who you're talking to, girl. No problem. You just keep doing what you're doing, okay? Whatever you're doing, when you got them on the ropes like that and they're doing stuff like this, you guys got them, okay? And it's like with the other two, I just did 2 cases and helped this parent, and they filed 2 cases. Both of them were bogus. They should have never filed them. It should have never went in front of a hearing officer. The hearing officer should have dismissed it before it even got in front of them. And then when it got in front of them, and then when the hearing officer got a motion to dismiss and laid out the grounds why it should be dismissed, the hearing officer should have dismissed it. The hearing officer didn't. Hearing officer's in big trouble. You don't know it yet. Don't care. Don't care. Care. Okay. So they don't know they don't know that you don't know how to exercise your right. So you bluff. If you don't know, you bluff, because I'm telling you, you got this. I'm telling you right now, guys. Okay, I'm trying to develop a way for you guys to do a complaint real quick and easy. Okay, I did one already, but I think that was even too much. So I'm trying to develop one so that you guys can write this up, but it's a pain in the neck. Every state is different. Like, we just filed a complaint, for instance, 205 pages. 200, that's all the evidence. 205 pages of evidence. And there was about 5 to 6 violations that we alleged. The moron at the Department of Education came back and said, we only alleged 2 violations. I said, what? So he doesn't know I'm doing this. I've been doing this for 30 years. This fool tells me, and I got dates, times. I mean, my shit's on point. Fact. And then I got documents up the wazoo. Now, he makes the statement before he even gets the evidence. So now I said, oh, he wants to play games with, pull it. I'll do it again. So now I'm doing it again. I'm going to break it down in little teeny tiny pieces, because he's a moron. He's a moron. So now I'm backing him into a corner. There's no way out for him. The only way out is for him to find in favor of the parent. And then when he does, he better give me corrective action, because I'm creating a book. And when he doesn't, by before the end of the summer, OIG is going to get a whole bunch of shit from Texas. And it's not going to be pretty. They're going to investigate this nonsense. They are lying, and I called them out on it a couple of times. Meeting was 15 minutes. Should have been shorter if I realized the whole team wasn't there. That's right. Whole team got to be there. Whole team. Or you tell them, so wait for the meeting to start. And you say, you do realize I'm not waiving anybody from this meeting. So if they don't show up, I'm going in, I'm leaving. And then I'm going to file against you because you're stupid. Christina, they have started multiple services prior to IEP meetings. State doesn't see that as a predetermination. Okay, wait. They started multiple services Okay. So they waited until just before the IEP meeting. I sent all documentation. District just keeps doing these things, whatever. I know they do. The only way to get money, I know it sucks. Keep filing. And every time you file, you send it to OSEP. And you know what you guys can start doing? Send it to OSEP and say, I also sent this to Tammy Joya because she told me she's putting something together. That's all you have to say, because I already told him that. Just say you did. You don't have to. Don't send it to me. Do not send it to me. But if I call on you, I might need it because I don't have enough room on my computer. But say it. You can CC, if you're sending it via email, just CC me on it. I don't care. All right? State complaints, not DP. What? Oh, okay. Not due process. Yeah, I know. I don't even understand some of the nonsense that's going on with the state complaint procedures. I mean, I don't even know why we have it. I've asked OSEP, why do you have it? The school districts don't do anything. Nobody forces them to do anything. And what we're going to have to do is what I'm trying to do, like, hopefully this is going to kick off this weekend. It's going to be really bad for our state. It's an entire state, 2 of them. And I think I have a way to do it, and it has to be done. And it's all about the media, social media. It's all about getting it out there. Because like I told you guys last week, what I did find out watching the impeachment and getting completely frustrated with the whole system, I realized that it wasn't just me. It wasn't just what I'm doing for a living. It's lawyers like Adam Schiff, who is extraordinary. He's an extraordinary attorney. And he laid it out there, and he couldn't convince those Republicans of nothing. And he built his whole case on the evidence that what he had, that was it. And he won that case. And if they said he proved his case. He proved that the president did it. But he still didn't win. And it broke my heart. It truly broke my heart. Because all I could think of is, if he couldn't do it in Congress to get this man out, and they all agreed he did what they accused him of doing. If he can't do it, how, I got a little, discouraged. And I said, you know what? It's just like all we needed was one. Because Trump was saying that it was bipartisan. That it wasn't bipartisan. It was a partisan witch hunt, blah, blah, blah. We got one, Romney. And that made it bipartisan. And Trump is losing his mind right now. He's losing his mind. And that's good. Okay, that's good. You guys all know that fool is trying to pass a law where he can extend his presidency 2 more years. King Trump in America. We're not going to have this in a few minutes. Because if he gets away with what he's doing right now, because people won't vote, because they can't pick somebody, I don't care if Shrek's donkey is running and he's a Democrat, vote for him. Vote for my cup. It's a Democrat. Vote for it. Because we got to get him out. Because all of this stuff we're talking about right now is going to be a moot point. It's moot. Because we're not going to have it. Right now, we can't get stuff done, and we got these laws on the books. What do you think is going to happen if this man continues to do what he's doing? He's not helping. They tried to pull his grades. His grades are good. Good. Rated 3 or whatever. Good. Of idea. And so they tried to say, oh, his grades are good. So as long as he's passing from grade to grade, good girl. And they also tried to say, well, there was a schedule conflict, and I said I didn't sign to excuse anyone. Good girl. So you didn't waive anybody. No schedule change. Then this is your job, honey. You're the chair. Isn't that your job? Isn't that your job? You're the chairperson. I am so proud of you, girl. Shrek. Just saying. I don't know. I would trust Shrek. I like him better. I don't care. I don't care who's in there as long as it's not him. He's going to hurt our children. Do you know how long it took America to develop these kinds of protections for our children who have disabilities? Do you know years ago, they just wanted to kill them? If you have a disability, kill them. Maybe Trump would be in office. That's not nice. I can't believe I said that. I'm sorry. No, you are learning. You guys are good. I'm telling you, you're getting it. And you know, every time you make these, I read these books. One is called The Art of War. And this guy is named Sun Tzu. And in 496 AD, he said, it's not how many battles. How did he say it? It's not how many battles you lose. The battles don't count. The war is what counts. But you know what? Sometimes these little battles, they do mean a lot. So even though if you're gonna win, oh, that's what it was. He said if you losing the battles is not bad. It's winning the war. And so if you guys who haven't had a lot of success, you keep plugging, because just because you lost the battle doesn't mean you lost the war. And the war is you're going to get what you need for your kid. That's what the bottom line is. Okay? So don't give up. Do not give up. That's what they want you to do. They want you to be compliant. They want you to do what they say you do. You don't work for them. They work for you. It's your tax dollars that's paying those monkeys their fucking salaries. See, I'm sorry. I hope your kids aren't there. I put a thing on there. I can't do it. I hope it beeps. Maybe it beeps by itself when you click off that box, not for children. Anyway, I got to check off that box. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Well, it just slips out. I don't know what to do. So, we're going to end this tonight. I hope you guys are paying attention when it comes to consent. Okay. Remember, I'm not telling you guys don't sign the consent. If you don't sign the consent, the initial evaluation or the reevaluation, then what will happen is they'll take you to a hearing. They could. But what you got to do is sign the consent. Okay. And then while you sign the consent, you keep sending them an email. Tell them I want the names. I want the names. I want the names. I want the list. I want the list. And you keep sending it. You keep sending while they're doing the evaluation. You keep sending it, keep sending it. Then what's going to happen is you're going to get it. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. So the reason why this is important, in one case, this is what's going on. Okay, I'm going to try to find private psychologists, and all the ones around here without months and months wait won't do them. Go to the hospitals. You're going to be put on a wait list. Okay, you're going to be put on a wait list. But if you go to like the major hospitals and wherever you're at, like in Massachusetts, it's Mass General Hospital or Boston Medical. Those are huge hospitals, and they have the evaluators there. All of them, OT, PT, speech and language, all of that stuff. So try the major hospitals. There's going to be a wait list. Okay, anytime you want this, there's going to be a wait list. But anyway, the reason why I was telling you about this one thing with this consent is, okay, so I told you that the parent just found out that the evaluation that she had done, she never gave consent for it. There's no consent. And she just had it done like 2 years ago. So if it's in the 50,000 records, if that actually is, there are 50,000 pieces of paper, then the consent should have been right around where the evaluation was. We have that. The reason why it was important in this particular case is this. So the parent asked for an initial evaluation again. Prior to this, the parent had revoked consent for special education. But the parent always maintains the right to re-enroll their kid into special education sometime in the future. So the parent requested that a kid be evaluated because she wants to re-enroll him back in special education. Okay. The school district did a whole bunch of stuff. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to get the parent to say, just in case you change your mind, we're just going to keep this discontinuation of special ed open for a little bit and yada, yada, yada. The reason why they did that is because they wanted to reuse the 2017-18 evaluations for the second initial evaluation after the parent revoked consent for special ed. Because when you revoke consent for special education, you have to start all over again as if the kid was never evaluated. School district didn't want to do that because in the district's previous evaluation, the kid is autistic. They wrote an IEP for a kid who has emotional disturbance because they decided we're going to ignore the autism. the autism that impacts every area of functioning. There's something going on in every area of functioning for this kid. So they decided that this is what they were going to do. So if they gave us the names of the evaluators and they gave us the list of the records, it would, now they can't use that evaluation. Now they actually have to go through with it. But if they conceal it and the parent asks for the initial, then what we're going to do, they're going to give us the old one. Get this. The people that wrote that evaluation, they're not even employees of that school anymore. This is why you have to force them to give you the names. So even after you signed consent, make sure you sign consent. And then you tell them, but I want the list of names and I want this, this, and this. I want what the law says I'm supposed to have, and I want it now. Because right now is when I can sit down and ask them questions. And what they did is, if they don't do that, and you want to sit down to the evaluator, but you can't sit down with the evaluator because the school district won't tell you who the evaluator is, then you can't meaningfully participate in the evaluation process. You can't get the information. What if that person's evaluating your kid in an area that you don't have any concerns in? Or what if that person is going to use their opinion? Or what if they're going to do an observation and that's as far as it goes? There's no instruments, there's no nothing. All of that's bad. I'm close to Akron. Oh, can you please message me? Yeah, my sister lives in Akron. I know all about Akron. Akron kids is 12 months. I don't know. Akron's kids is 12 months. I may reach out to you for more laws to use. If I don't know, I can't. Go ahead. Okay? You do what you got to do. That's my issue. To youngest has ASD. Okay. They never do. Okay, so if you go in the law, okay, I'm going to tell you where the laws are for the definitions of the disability, and autism is in there, and it says all the areas. Okay, so you can just cut and paste this. So I'm going to put 300.8 is the definition of a disability. Akron is known for not. I cussed out more people in Akron when I was there. They're dumb. They love to do clinical studies. They said, well, we're going to do a clinical study. You can do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. You can clinical study your mother. I don't care nothing about it. What you're doing a clinical study on, because I asked for an evaluation, it has absolutely no meaning to me whatsoever. I don't care. I still want what I want. And if you're not going to give it to me, then you still got to put it in writing. Your clinical study, your whole bunch of people, I don't care. You still have to put it in writing when you're not going to do it because you had a clinical study. Do you know what you can do? I told them with your clinical study. I couldn't even find the person half the time. I chewed this guy a new one left, right, and center. And that's okay, Patricia. You guys can get me on YouTube, if like on the bottom of this. If you wanted to know about anything more that we talked about, then all you have to do is click on the bottom with this, okay? And it'll come right up. I'll get the message. Okay. Or you could inbox me on my Facebook page. All right. So I'm going to go and I will talk to you guys later. Remember, consent. Sign the consent form so you don't have to go to hearing. And then I can show you what to do to make them, and you just keep doing it. You keep asking for it. And then you can file for a complaint that they're refusing to give it to you. Because by the time they get done with your evaluation, if they refuse to give it to you, if you file a complaint on them, like a few times that you tried to get it from them, like you do it 3 times. If they refuse to give it to you, you just end it and you file a complaint. By the time you get the findings for your complaint, they'll be done and they'll be in trouble. And part of the thing that you want, because they're going to say, well, here you are. No, now I want you trained because you're stupid. And then you send it to me. I'll create a page for that state, for that town, a Facebook page, and we'll just keep uploading crazy stuff that they're doing over there. How about that? That's how we can. Court of public opinion. No problem. No problem. I will see you guys next Thursday or Friday. I might change this to Fridays. It's working out better for me for Fridays. But I will see you guys next week, and I'll let you know. And please, please, please subscribe to my channel. And give me a like, smash that, like they say, smash that like button. And leave your messages on the bottom. Let me know what you thought about this. I'd really be interested. If maybe there's something you want to talk about, let me know. And I'll be sure to do it. Hit that bell too so you can get notified every time I do this. I don't know what I'm doing yet, so I'm winging it at best. But if you hit that notification button, did you guys get notified when I was going on? If you did, good. So if you hit the notification button on this channel, every time I go live, you guys will be notified immediately. And if you hit the subscribe button, you'll also be, hit the subscribe button and the notification button, and you'll always get my stuff. Okay. And thank you to all of those who have. I've gone up like 30 subscribers just since I started doing this. So I'm really grateful for that. There's something I'll be able to do when I hit 100, and I can't remember what it is. But thank you so much for your support, and I really love doing this, and I hope to see you guys next week. Okay? Love ya. Keep fighting. You guys are doing good. I'm very proud of you. Very, very proud of you. Very. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.